we've had another bank failure. This is number 6. Now, JP Morgan was right when he said it's going to be different. This isn't the same as last time. He was wrong when he said it's almost over, because I believe it's just getting started. We're going to talk about how this is so much different than 2008. It is. It's very different. We're going to talk about that. But first, I want to tell you about the bank that failed, PacWest. It's a bank in Beverly Hills, California. You know, that's where it's happening the most. These communist states that have, you know, crappy banks, and they're gambling casinos is what they are. So what happened was their stock went down 60%. The first time I saw the story, it was like, it's 40%. Then it was 50%. Now it's 60% as they try to find some liquidity. You know, they're trying to find people to buy into the bank, and they're trying to, you know, that's what happens in a liquidity crisis. People want to know where their money is. They need money. And that sent a signal to their investors, and they started pulling out. Part of it. Now, I hate that for anybody that's involved in that bank. But the moral of the story is, Jerome Powell came out 2 hours before this bank announcement of it being belly up. 2 hours. 2 hours before he said this. The U.S. banking system is sound and resilient. See, Jerome Powell practices something called double speech. It's kind of like double think, but double speech is a way to make bad things sound good and good things sound bad. He's a professional at it, and when you listen to him, you can't ever tell what he's saying. And you certainly can't tell if he's lying or not, because sometimes he'll tell the truth and nobody will believe him. But he is the Fed chair. He sits up in the big Fed chair, the central bank from this, you know, he's the banker for the party. And another party member is JP Morgan. Massive, massive bank. This is the character Potter in, what's that movie? My wife makes me watch it every year. Put it in the comments. Miracle on 21st Street, I think. That's it. This is the bad banker, you know, the big one that is backstopped by the other people in the government. It's all a big club, and you ain't in it. So this is going to be, mark my words, another non-bailout through some kind of window. They're going to issue some money, and they'll be on the UBBI, Universal Basic Bank Income. Yeah, that's what we're going to have in the Thunderdome. It's going to be way different. You're right, Jerome. In just the past few weeks, we've had over $500 billion worth of bank failures. In 7 weeks, going on 8, 2 months. Unreal. I told Stacey a while ago, I said, this is really starting to be concerning. This is a much, much bigger deal. I'm looking at this now the way I was looking at the woohoo bat flu 3 years ago, before it got here. I was telling people, I was telling my wife, hey, this is coming. It's coming right now. It's on the way. It's, you know, and then a year later, it gets here. And then everybody's freaking out. But if you prepare now, you won't be part of the freak out. You can be the other side. You can be on the prosperity side of this thing. Now, I'm not saying we're all going to get rich. I'm just saying maybe we can do less bad. Does that make sense? Precious metals won't save you. Only God does that. We don't worship it, but it does hedge against inflation. That's why the wealthy own it. And usually they say 10 up to 50%. I'm not saying what I hold, because you got to come up with your own convictions on that. If they're my convictions and it goes down, you're going to sell. So, you know, just think through that. Gold does good in that environment. Go somewhere else first. Stacey, her number will be in the description. I'll put it on the screen. But I encourage people to go 3 other places, shop around, and then check with Stacey. If you've had a good experience buying from Stacey, put it in the comments. That'd be awesome. So, like I said, go somewhere else first, guys. I'm not trying to sell not trying to get rich off of gold and silver. That's why we're so competitive. That's why I sell for Miles Franklin. So this bank is on sale and it's having trouble finding buyers because you'd have to be crazy to get involved with a bank in Beverly Hills, California that's got no telling what kind of loans out. And that would be financial suicide for us, for anybody that's not in the club that we're not in. Now, that's when JP Morgan steps up to the plate. Oh, okay, I see your little bank's, you know, half price. I'll buy it, and I'll just ask the Fed for, you know, the backstop from the taxpayers. You know, the taxpayers pay it through banking fees and all that, through inflation and all that stuff, but I've never bought a bank. I don't know everything that's involved with it. But that's what's happening. And really, guys, this banking fiasco we're going through right now, the banking fiasco we're going through right now, I hope it doesn't happen to the houses. When you think about it, so the bank's belly up, JP Morgan's got a government backstop from the Fed, and he can buy assets, pennies on the dollar, with freshly stolen money from me and you. Now, if that's not the way it works, let me know, but that's what I understand to be true. This could also happen to the housing sector. They could run the prices down, they could put everybody in a hurt locker, and then the Fed be the buyer of last resort. And then what does asset prices do? You know, we've never been here. We are in uncharted territory. We are running a bass boat straight through a stump field, and they're a foot under the water. There's no telling when somebody's gonna hit one. And that's a pretty good analogy, because I was in a fishing tournament one time, and then we were in a stump field we'd never been in, and we didn't know what to do, so we just watched. We watched people run wide open into stumps, and then we did what the other guys did. You know what I'm saying? We didn't just blow out of the gate. We watched and paid attention, surveyed, and then we got out of there scot-free, running wide open after we knew where to go. So just pay attention. That's all. Pay attention, and because there's a lot of landmines to get into, especially right now. Especially if you're buying precious metals. There's so many people ripping people off for these precious metal scams. It's unbelievable. I beat a guy by $1,000. Stacey beat a guy's price by $1,000. It's actually $1,100 for if you bought Eagles. And they were pushing these other coins that were like $70 for a piece of silver. It didn't make any sense to me. This is getting nutty, and I really want you to pay attention, because when you see what the difference is between this crash and the last one, it's going to make a lot of sense. Let me check it out. Let me flip my paper over. All right, guys, how about this for a whiteboard video? Okay, this was off Mike Maloney's channel, and I wanted to show it to you. If you get a chance, go check him out. These banks were failing months apart, 5 months, 6 months, Bear Stearns, 4 months, Fannie Mae, 8 days. It started speeding up in 2008, okay? And it sped up and it sped up, and after 2008, we started seeing months again, or as the end of 2008. And then, you know, months, 4 months, and then I guess it was over and everybody crawled themselves out of a huge hole. Now, here's where the difference is. This is what's happened now. 2 days apart, 2 days apart, 3 days apart. So that's Silvergate, Silicon Valley, Signature Bank are just days apart. You had Credit Suisse 7 days apart. And then 2 months, First Republic Bank. So, and there's one more going to be added down here. The one we just talked about. What the heck was it called? PacWest. Yeah, PacWest will be right down here. So that's number 6. I thought I'd finish up the video at the Tree of Doom for the people that have not seen this. This is a great analogy. That tree is starving for oxygen. It has a liquidity problem, and it is starving. That is the economy tree. That's the economy tree of doom, because it's pretty, it's big, it's lush. Driving by, it looks fine. Nothing's wrong with it, but we know it's dying. Just like we know the economy's dying. Things are about to change. We are not going to experience prosperity for the rest of our life. It's just not the way it happens. We got away with it for the last 60 years, and prosperity is a poor teacher. We're about to see a lot of people fail. I just don't want anybody watching this channel suffer any more than they have to. I'm not trying to get rich off of this. I'm just trying to do the least bad. Just do the best you can, you know? So I hope you got something from this, guys. Have an awesome, awesome day. We'll see you in the next one. Later.